Yes, indeed. League stage done. We're all set for the business end of the tournament. Qualifier number 1 from Chennai. MPL presents Cricbuzz Live to try and look ahead to what lies ahead with the contest that is often referred to as the El Clasico. It's the two winningest teams. It's the Chennai Super Kings against the Mumbai Indians. And this is qualifier number 1. The only difference is when we talk about the business end, it's not quite knockout, thanks to the fact that teams 1 and 2 get one more chance to sneak into that final in Hyderabad. One more stat to throw at you before I come to my guests. 6 times out of 8 in the history of this tournament have teams 1 and 2 gone on to become the 2 finalists. Hyderabad were the one exception, and Chennai, interestingly, when they didn't make it to the top 2, also made it to the final before they lost to the Kolkata Knight Riders. Now to introduce my guests, one regular face, which is Joy Bhattacharjya, and a warm welcome to Pommie and Mbangwa. Pommie, great to have you on MPL Presents Cricbuzz Live.
Nice to be here, Gautam. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. It's good to have you in there. Big game, and I think even here we are feeling what a big, huge contest this is.
Yeah, a nice contest. I think in thinking about, where everything was going with regard to the playoffs, you kind of wonder if Delhi would get there at the top. You wonder, Chennai, certainly with the way that they started, seemed like they couldn't put a foot wrong, even when they were not playing that well, they were winning their games. And you kind of just expect over the years that they'll be there somewhere, that they'd be at the top. Yeah, it was a bit iffy somewhere along the line. In the last little run where they've kind of had a few hiccups. But I'm glad that it's Mumbai who are at the top and are playing against them, because I think that gives us all, everybody, more of a contest. These are two sort of powerhouse side that play against each other. And, they don't fear each other. They play against each other as equals.
As equals, it's an important point he makes, because normally anyone visits Chennai and it's sort of, we're not allowed to use that word, but it's a place that they kind of dominate.
It's that word.
Citadel.
The other F word. Right?
Yeah, the other F word. We're not allowed to use it. So I've just been told, thank you, Abhideep, Citadel. It's always good to have a nice synonym. So we're going with Citadel with a C.
Okay. Citadel, yeah, I can think of a few more. But I love it. Also, I loved it when, you could see during the toss, Sanjay Manjrekar bowls this full-length ball saying that, you really respect, Mumbai. He said, no, we respect all sides, everything. So 2 things. Dhoni is not going to even give them saying that they're more powerful than other teams or they're stronger. He's not going to give that little bit of psychological advantage also. He's going to say, okay, they're also good, they're balanced, but they're as good as bad as any other side. So and I loved it, right up the start, those psychological mind games.
Also proves that he doesn't just bat in the 20th over. He bats even before a single ball is being bowled.
Before the match. And because it's a, Sanjay Manjrekar, I mean, it's like me saying I'm not a KKR supporter. When Sanjay Manjrekar, obviously, Mumbai is a special side. No, it's not. I loved it. I just loved it.
But yeah, when you get to this stage, Pommie, I mean, there are a lot of mind games that are played, but the one person who'll always leave it outside the off stump, he's the master, isn't he, MS?
Yeah, he is the master. I mean, the one thing that's so good about the Chennai Super Kings is him. And I say one thing, one of many, of course. And I say him because of his characteristics and the way that he leads. It's not a surprise for anyone that he has been, in my opinion, the best captain on show. He's kind of known when to use his players, how to use his players. The advantage he has is that his players are very experienced, and so they respond under pressure because they've kind of seen it all as well. Pretty much like him. So when Sanjay, in referring to the toss, also says, you turn up here, is this just one of those games? It's not. Of course it's not, But you could also say, yes, it is. Yeah. Because he's been to so many finals, he's been to so many big games, and he knows what he ought to do in order to turn up and kind of give himself the best chance of doing well. Yeah, they're not a side you look at and each side knows themselves. And when they turn up here, the more nervous side is not Chennai, it's the Mumbai Indians. Can they raise themselves and make sure that they knock over Chennai? If Chennai win, we're not surprised. If Chennai lose, we think, why couldn't they turn it on today? So yeah, they've got a good side. And what is it, winningest?
Yeah, winningest.
I'm not sure that's a word, actually, but that's the one you use.
Yeah. So. There are so many words we're not allowed to use on this show, so we have to come up with our own Cricbuzz Live dictionary.
I'm not going to ask you which ones those are. I'll have to ask you that off air. Yeah.
No, the other funny one is that, It's like today, the Chennai Super Kings squad is like most modern swimming pools because they have no diving rule. Every other team saying, I want the guys to throw themselves and catch the ball. Don't break your ribs. Look at what happened to Kedar.
Correct.
I told you not to dive.
Correct.
Old bodies, old. Can you imagine if Shane Watson dives, what's going to happen? So you don't need those guys to dive. So, every other team is saying, dive, stop them in the boundary, relax. Let Jadeja and Raina do the heavy lifting. You guys just stand out there.
Which old man has come in for that particular old man? Let's find out the Chennai squad. We're going to have a few look at some numbers after that. And there's the answer, Murali Vijay right at the top. So we'll assume that this is probably the way they could go. We've seen Shane Watson. There was a question mark, but he's very much in there. So that's the only change they've gone with.
Deepak Chahar is a lonely man. The only member of the under 30 club out there. All around him, they're all nice senior gents out there.
But again, it looks, I'm not sure what they'll go with that batting order, with Chennai batting first, MS Dhoni having won that toss. So we've got lots of options for them at the toss. Watson, Murali Vijay and Faf du Plessis. Think they won't disturb a winning combination?
They might not. If you're looking at Chennai and you're trying to make any sort of adjustments, I think the first place you'd go is the Watson scenario. However, in looking at the way that they've gone through the tournament, if they were going to drop him, they'd have dropped him a while ago. So the fact that they changed the team, bring in a batsman and retain him, it says a lot. It says they probably want him up at the top. I can't see him batting anywhere else. I can see Faf du Plessis, though, adjusting to whether it's 3 or 4. He's able to do it. I don't think Raina will slip down to 4. He's been constant at number 3. So the change will be probably, looking at the list, Faf du Plessis going into Kedar Jadav's place and Murali Vijay going to his accustomed positions up at the top.
I tend to agree that if it has to happen, it will be Faf that will move back. It won't be Watson. The other thing I'm thinking about is that's probably why they played Jayant Yadav, because they probably think, if you see the last 3-4 matches, the big thing for Chennai is the return to form of Suresh Raina. And Jayant Yadav is there just for that. They wanted that off spinner to bowl to Suresh Raina, because Raina, once he gets going, look, he's been a banker for them for the last 10, 11 years. This year, he hasn't started that well. But somewhere, he's beginning to get form, and that's looking ominous. So they think they probably want a weapon just against him.
And when a team plays 3 overseas players, it's a horses for courses kind of move. Mitch McClenaghan didn't necessarily do anything wrong. It's just that they've seen Jayant Yadav, they want him on this surface against that top order.
I think tactically over the years, teams have got so much better.
Yeah,
I think at the start of the tournament it was all hype, and if you looked at and understandably, if you looked at the start of the tournament, you go back to 2008 and see which players are on show. It was almost as if it was a contest for all teams to show you what they've got, who they've got. We've got this big player from such and such, and he's in our 11. If it balanced, if it didn't really matter. Now it's about making sure that you balance your side and you match up against your opposition adequately. And that's why when Joy says, look, here's Jan into the side, he's going to play against a gun player in the opposition who, if you knock over, you're not really worrying about the top 2, because they've not done well anyway. Their opening partnership has been rubbish all the way through the tournament. So you're going to be okay there. But the guy who's repaired things and who's able to and coming into form is this one. So we're going to make a special plan for him, bring in someone, and if the plan works, then we're on our way.
As Pommie said, probably early on, either not just in 2008, but early on, you always say that, look, we've got 4 overseas players, so we kind of have to play 4 overseas players. And then when you say they're not playing, is someone injured? What's wrong? And you realize tactics.
Yeah. In 2011, I remember we were the first team not to play with our full quota of 4 players. And the only reason it was I think only 3 of them were available and 2 didn't work out. So only Jacques and 1 more person played. But now
Morgan
this year,
was the other one.
Yeah, Morgan was the other one. This year, right now, I think there's at least 7 to 8 games where teams have not played their quota. And I think it's fantastic. It's great news for Indian cricket. It's also, as he said, great news for what's happening tactically with these teams. Because they'll say, okay, this guy's there. Remember, Jayant Yadav, if Raina gets out in the first couple of overs, Jayant Yadav may not bowl his 4. They'll just take him off. They'll bring somebody else in who's this thing. Because see, they have the left arm bowler. They have the right arm this thing. They have the this thing, Offie as well. They have all 3 of those. So they'll just change cut and chop because they have those 6 players and they're going to play around with them. So it's very interesting saying that if I have the extra bowler, let me target the best batsman.
Tangential point, which not quite, and I think it's a point that needs to be made. You say it and skip over it. The fact that 3 overseas players only can play or will play and have played in many games through this season is good for Indian cricket. But I'd like to take you back again to say when teams were being picked, there was a difficulty with the rule or regulation of under 22. You've got to play a player who's under 22. You've got to play only a maximum of 4 overseas. And so often there'd be a look at, do you know what? You look at the 6 batters there. If we get through 2, we're in business. If we look at the 5 bowlers here, if we get through opening and second in the fast bowlers, we're good for X runs with whoever comes in. It's not like that anymore. So it's a huge deal. It's a very big deal. The fact that the tournament has matured, but more than anything else, it's produced young kids who've turned up into the tournament and are kind of matching up against the international stars right from the onset. So it's a fantastic point. It's a big point, I think, for the tournament and for India.
I don't think CSK would have been able to play with that under 22 rule.
Under 22. CSK. You can just see Dhoni looking. What under 20?
Where will I get my players from? What about the over 32s? Anyway, let's stick to the fact that, it's not just a headache for the likes of MS Dhoni and Rohit Sharma. All of you have to pick your teams. It's a headache for me as well. I'm on the show, so I can't make any changes at the moment unless I can slip out in the next 10 seconds. But here it is. In case you haven't made yours, make your MPL Super Team. Just select the game, select the contest, and you need to, of course, pick a captain and a vice captain. And it's a big game today. And when Mumbai plays Chennai, somehow you've got a problem of plenty, but you've also got a lot of expensive players to choose from, which, of course, the teams don't have to worry about. But again, I think one of the big factors, just tied on that for a moment, with the Mumbai Indians, the fact that they've had so many bowlers to choose from. There are a lot of reasons why we said they've done well. But I think one of them should be, you'll agree, is that you've had that extra, not just the 6th, the 7th bowler to turn to from time to time.
No, absolutely. I think it's been great for them. They construct their side depending on that. See, the dynamo of their side, it's a pity Pollard doesn't bowl as much as he had to, but Bombay have always had one gun all-rounder. Because the moment you have that one gun all-rounder, that gives you 6. And they were very deliberate this year saying that, I want that wicket-keeper batsman to open because that frees up that space because that keeper batsman is going to be right at the top. So they were one of the few teams who made a trade and got De Kock in and said that, okay, he is a designated player. They know 7 of the matches are going to be in Mumbai where the tracks suit a player like De Kock. Maybe Kolkata will suit him. So 9-10 matches, he's perfectly fit. They've constructed it that way, and that's what I love about what they do. See, the other thing they have is John Wright and people like Kiran More going out. Jasprit Bumrah, he's not just playing for Bombay. He was found by Mumbai. I mean, let's give him credit where it's due. Hardik Pandya, Kunal Pandya, all these guys have come out from that ecosystem where people like John Wright, Kiran More have gone and seen matches in the boondocks and found good players and brought them in. So yes, they are reaping a bit of the benefit of that as well, and I don't think it's a bad thing.
And if you look at the history of the playoffs as well, I think you'll notice, particularly when Rohit Sharma has taken over as captain, you can have a look at Chennai versus Mumbai in playoffs and have a look at Mumbai of late as you come from since 2013. It's Mumbai, 3 out of 4. And I think these are the kind of factors that will play a role more recent years in terms of form.
Yeah, at the start, I said that there are 2 big teams going against each other. I tend to get an impression, many a time, that the aura that Chennai has makes a few teams afraid. And I think there are many teams in the IPL who are afraid to play against Chennai. But I don't think Mumbai is one of them. And I always get the sense that Mumbai feel they must prove that they are the big city. Right? We are the big city, and not just by name, not just because economically and all that we're, the busiest. We have a good team, and we are legitimately as successful as you are. And it's a proof thing all the time. So their players get up for this game. They don't fear it. They want it. They want to play them once, beat them, away we go. And if you come again, they'll get up. Don't you worry about it. They'll get up again, and they'll want to make sure that they knock them over. So I think it's an important matchup, and it's important for the players within the Mumbai side, because self-belief and all of those things and accomplishment from such a big kind of hurdle is what they get.
What about these two teams? Let's have a look at this rivalry, and let's see what happened at Chepauk. And this is Mumbai. Since 2013, Chennai at Chepauk, against all the other teams, have a look at that. They've won 19 and lost just 1. Against Mumbai, it's 0-3. That says a lot. We, of course, now know that MS Dhoni, of course, respects all teams. It's no surprise there. We've found that. Breaking news. And this is Chennai-Mumbai encounters in Chennai. And again, have a look at this. 4 out of 6. So forget all that stuff about teams being fearful of coming here. The one team, Pommie said it again, the one team who are not fearful are the Mumbai Indians, which is what makes this contest even more spicy.
Yeah.
It's the team who are happy at home, and it's the team who are happiest coming there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. My belief is that the only real desperation for Chennai will be win this and rest ourselves for 4 days, 5 days. We are an old team. We are not, let's put in all the effort today and finish off let's do the hard work today. And I think that's a very strong message. And I think, he'll look at Shane Watson in the eye and Imran Tahir in the eye and said, you know what, you don't want to play 2 days later. And they'll say, yeah, absolutely, we don't want to play 2 days later.
Yeah, I think they've seen enough of Visakhapatnam. They've been there before. They've seen it. It's a lovely seaside. It's a beautiful seafront. But, make travel arrangements a lot easier. You can actually fly from Chennai to Hyderabad very easily on a non-stop flight. Why do you have to go via Vizag? Simple as that.
And knowing Dhoni, he'd also be saying that, okay, Shane, we've carried you for 10 matches, 11 matches. Time to come to the party.
But he's the kind of person who does come to the party at these times, which is why you want to keep punting on him. Scored 100 in the final last time around. We've seen his form in other tournaments recently. So he's just that big match player kind of person.
Yeah, and the power of words as well. I don't know what people believe in and how things go, but you work hard and you get success, right? It's not guaranteed, but generally that's how it goes with sport. I'm going with the power of words here, because for a long time through this season, we've sat as analysts and as spectators of the game and said, what are they doing? Why don't they drop this guy? Surely they've got players in there. Murali Vijay sitting on the side. He plays for India. Come on, surely. He gets one score and guys are, oh, yeah, you see, it can happen. He can get runs. But essentially, all of us, just like you're saying now, oh, he's that big game player. Come the big game, he's going to get them runs. They haven't dropped him. They've still picked him. It wouldn't surprise anybody if it was Watson today who got some runs, if he got a 60 or something to get them started really quickly, and away they go. And then in the final as well, to have some sort of contribution to them kind of doing well. So, yeah, it might not work. It might not go that way. But I think they've kind of willed him as they've gone along. You're going to do it for us in the big games. You're a big game player. You're this. Almost to the point where Mumbai might believe it, like you turn up there and then bowl a couple, bang, gone, bang. Oh dear, not today, So yeah, he's one of those players, and they're hoping, Chennai, that he can.
And I don't think there's two people you need to tell this to. One, of course, skipper himself, but Suresh Raina, again, not had the hugest number of runs, not as many as he's had in the past, but in playoffs, particularly versus Mumbai, these are absolutely staggering numbers. You look at any averages in this format of the game in excess of 50, you're pretty much happy with 40 plus. Yeah. But when you see 50 plus and that strike rate, these are serious numbers.
No, I go back again to that famous thing that you always say, that, a good average is when you look at strike rate, what's the number that you add up to with strike rate plus this thing? Anything above 170 is supposed to be good. 200, 210, 220, that's a ridiculous number. 160 strike rate, 50 average, 210, that's a superb number. And that's what I'm saying, that these guys are really, really different players. Big party players. And remember the other thing, all these guys know each other's game so well. Dhoni and Raina have played together for, other than those 2 years in the middle, they've played for 10 years together. They know each other's games upside down. Dhoni doesn't have to look when Raina calls, And that's the kind of relationship that they have. So they are the gun, they're the engine. So if they are there, if somebody at the top can give them something out there, their only problem is after Dhoni is gone, Bravo's not the force he was. So if Dhoni falls early, then Bravo will be has been exposed so far in terms of getting those late order runs. But hey.
Yeah, we know that from the other day when Dhoni, I mean, a lot of times when you talk about farming the strike, when you've got a tail end at the other end, he did it with Bravo at the other end.
I was at that game. I remember trying to call this saying, what are you doing? I mean, I know you kind of figure this out and you know how to do this, but it's not number 11 at the other end. It's not me batting there. It's Bravo. And Bravo kind of stood there when he was told, no, you stay there. Now, I'll sort this out. And they nearly got there. What? They lost by 1 run?
Yep.
You know, they lost by one run in the end.
He's 1 hit away. He was
Correct.
1 hit away. Missed that ball and that was it.
You know, imagine that. So it's a case very much of a very well calculated side. A side that's hardened by battle over the years, not just battle at IPL. Yes, IPL is the cauldron, but all the experience gathered wherever else. And if you look around at all those men around MS Dhoni, they have to lead groups of men elsewhere.
Absolutely.
So they turn up here and they know exactly what is required from foot soldiers. And what is required is that you commit fully to whatever the plan is. And they're able to do that fully. No hassles. They know they'll be backed. They know that continuity of selection, continuity of roles is good. Bravo, bowl at the death, bowl at whatever. Even if you're Shardul Thakur, actually, who was being used at the... You've also got to compare apples with apples, right? Shardul Thakur will bowl at the back end, and if he goes at 10s, you accept it because at that time, with someone having gone at 6s at the beginning, it actually evens out quite nicely. And they've worked this out. It's not like, oh, we'll try this and we'll try that. You see the formula as they go along. So it's worked out.
I'm glad you mentioned Apples for Apples because strangely enough, they're the only franchise I know who actually had an official apple as one of their sponsors a few years ago.
An official apple?
An official apple. The official apple of the Chennai Super Kings. I'm not kidding. I went and did an event for them.
All right.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. You learn something.
Yeah.
One lives and learns.
Yeah.
The other thing is,
They're called the
I
Washington apples, by the way. I'm not getting paid to talk about the brand, but they're gone now. But they were the Washington apple, the official apple.
Pommie, on air, we won't talk about your batting.
No, I won't either.
Test average of 2.
You said you wouldn't talk about it. What's going on there?
Anyway, we will talk about somebody who had an average pretty much almost in single digits to start the season, and there were a few worried faces in the yellow dugout. But again, timing is everything. First half of the season, Suresh Raina, versus second half of the season, have a look at the difference. Averaging just 19, and that strike rate as well was so un-Raina-like because there were times when he was 18 of 25, which was not quite him. He'd always be 6 of 4, 8 of 5, but he wasn't, and he's come good second half. That's where they wanted him.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, it's so interesting. I was seeing something the other day. The young guns, KL Rahul, Rishabh Pant, good players, very good players, great strikers of the ball. I'm suddenly looking, Rahul is batting. He's hit 4 brilliant 4s, and he's batting 36 of 28 balls or 32 of 28 balls. I look at Suresh Raina, he seems to have done nothing. And suddenly he's 30 of 21 balls and 19 balls. He has the ability, 2 things those great players do, the great T20 and one-day players rotate very well. And the way you'll make out their greats of the game is, they look as if they've scored 30, 40 before you even know it. Suddenly you look at the score and say, shit, where are they? They've gone. And that's the thing that, a Rishabh Pant or a KL Rahul is, you can see them. They've had an effortless 6 and then they've got bogged down because they haven't rotated. And that's what Raina does so well.
Almost like we keep talking about a good umpire who you don't notice.
Yeah.
Someone who rotates the strike well is someone you wouldn't notice until he suddenly scored 30 of 25.
You've got to notice the umpire. Get him on your side.
On the field you do. On the field you do.
Yeah, okay. Off the field, as a spectator, I guess you don't want to be noticing. Yeah, it's shift to Mumbai a little bit, actually, because I was just thinking in our chat, we're talking about these experienced guys who are in the Chennai side and the fact that, they'll kind of go to war for MS and kind of, it seems as if we're kind of leaning that way. But as you say, they're facing these guys who are hell-bent on making sure that when they turn up there, they win. De Kock, and I'm going to their skipper, Rohit Sharma. I think that he's too good a player to have an IPL as he's had. Every single season we've watched him and something's happened. So something's bound to, just like we've been talking about Watson, big game player and all the rest. It might well be the time for him today.
Yeah, it's a little too late for me to pick up that hint to stick in my MPL super team. So I do have Rohit Sharma in there. The only problem is I had a problem fitting Watson in, but nonetheless, I'm rooting for Murli Vijay in this case. Now, if you had been listening to us throughout the show, you would know that the toughest question posed today has been at the toss from Sanjay Manjrekar to MS Dhoni. The second toughest question posed today will be by Joy Bhattacharya in today's Joy Factor question.
Okay,
Joy?
nice one today. Interesting one. And which cricketer's autobiography gets its title from a comment he made to the opposing team after being hit by a bouncer? Basically, he got hit by a bouncer, didn't like it, and said it loudly to the Stips, and after that proceeded to wreak havoc against them. So then that's the name of his autobiography.
Wow, this is going to be a tough one. I'm just wondering, Pommie, if it was, would it be a top order batsman who gets upset, or would it be someone from your fraternity, shall we say, the lower half of the order? I'm not.
I'd like to.
Are we not talking
the
about
whole
batting?
batting order as a one franchise?
Exactly. There you go.
It's one team.
One team. So what if our average
You
is
see,
two?
this is the problem. Your cricket teams must not have gone so well. You've been separating teams, aren't you? Listen to him. Eh?
That's why I sit here and I've not been on the
I like the way he says, we are all team, we are all batsmen.
All of us batsmen, like together.
All right. So now I'm going to give you a little batting test over here, Pommie.
Okay.
Nothing to do with your particular batting hand, because we have something called the MPL Super Couch, and the person who predicts closest to the score that the Chennai Super Kings are going to reach at the end of 20 overs, plus minus 10, sits on the Super Couch. So 20 overs, we'll let you go first. What do you think they're going to get?
I will go with 164.
It's taken a nice safe type of 164. Playoff game, Mumbai Indians.
Well, you know what? I'll go 176. I'm going a bit high, but this pitch is not really that high. But yeah, hell.
Yeah.
He's taken the good middle space, so I'll push up. I'll go upwards.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I should.
You can low ball as well.
Yeah, I'm not going to low ball today. I'm not going to low ball. I know it's a big game, but I'm going to stick on the higher side, 185. Not too high. 185 is what I'm going to go for. So we've got all our numbers from Pommie and Mbangwa, from Joy Bhattacharya and myself. We'll be back in the 10th over with Cricbuzz Combox. And of course, MPL presents Cricbuzz Live will be back at the halfway stage. And as I said, one more reminder. Before we actually get to know who's sitting on that MPL Super Couch, we'll try and see where we are on MPL presents Cricbuzz Combox. We'll see you then.